Many of us have old things in our homes that remind us of our parents, grandmothers, and grandfathers. Sometimes true secrets are hidden in these objects. Imagine finding an old, worn notebook with a thick cardboard cover. Its pages had yellowed with time, and the corners were quite worn. This notebook belonged to a well-known professor who specialized in endocrinology during the Soviet era. He was a man of the old school, a true luminary of medicine who preferred to avoid loud words and publicity. He believed not so much in chemical drugs, but in the power that nature hides in the simplest and most accessible products. Even party officials secretly sought his help when Kremlin doctors could not assist. Flipping through this notebook, you may encounter many recipes and observations. But one entry, circled in red pencil, repeats over and over, like the main commandment. It sounds like this: against the sweet illness, as he called it, one baked onion on an empty stomach. Just a few words. No complex formulas or expensive medicines, just baked onions. And here arises the key question. Is this yet another folktale passed down through generations? Or does this seemingly simple recommendation hide a profound medical meaning that the professor grasped half a century ago? Can a common onion, available in every kitchen, really help control blood sugar levels and improve our health? Today, let's not blindly trust loud headlines or old records. We will jointly look at the pages of this notebook and conduct our own investigation. We explore baked onion literally by the molecules and find out what secret it hides and what the old Soviet professor concealed. I promise, it will be fascinating. What special thing did our wise professor notice in this simple childhood vegetable? Let's set aside his old notebook for a moment and try to look at a regular onion with fresh, curious eyes. Have you ever wondered that each onion you hold is a small yet incredibly powerful natural pharmacy, carefully wrapped in a golden, rustling shell? Yes, this is a real pharmacy where nature plays the role of the main pharmacist. We all admit that we don't really like cutting onions, as it makes us cry and stings our eyes. And here is the first great secret we will reveal today. The very substance that causes tears is actually one of the main treasures of the onion. These amazing volatile sulfur compounds. When we inhale them, or even better, consume them, they penetrate our bodies and begin to bring order, like an experienced and strict housekeeper. Imagine these substances as a whole army of tiny but very diligent workers. They cleanse and process the walls of our vessels, help thin thick blood, and prevent platelet aggregation, which can lead to heart attacks and strokes. These little helpers fight harmful microbes and fungi, matching expensive antibiotics. So when you cry over the cutting board, don't forget to smile and tell yourself, these are not tears of sorrow, but tears of joy and cleansing of my body. But that's not all. This is just the first line of defense. In the onion, especially in the bright peel and the juiciest top layers, there lies another powerful defender, quercetin. Remember this name, it deserves attention. Modern scientists praise it, creating preparations based on it. Our ancestors intuitively knew of its power, adding onion to every dish. Quercetin acts as a personal bodyguard, a kind of golden shield for every cell in our body. It prevents free radicals, these small robbers, from destroying our cells. It protects the vessels from fragility, as if strengthening them from within, and helps reduce pressure. What is most important for us is that it suppresses chronic inflammation, which always accompanies high blood sugar levels. It restores the elasticity of blood vessels, like in youth, allowing blood to flow freely and nourish the heart, brain, eyes, and legs. Now let's stop for a moment and think. We are going to the pharmacy, where the pharmacist offers us many colorful packages. Here is a blood thinner. Here is a cholesterol-lowering agent. Here is an expensive supplement with quercetin for blood vessels. And here is another with chromium for blood sugar control. Yes, there is chromium in the onion, which we will talk about later. We leave a fortune at the pharmacy buying all this chemistry. Yet nature, like a wise mother, has gathered all of this in one small golden ball, which costs mere pennies and is available everywhere. It is no coincidence that in Russia they said that onions cure 7 ailments. This is not just a beautiful expression, it is the essence of ancient folk wisdom. Therefore, before returning to the main secret, the secret of baked onions, let us mentally thank this humble king of our gardens. He truly deserves our deep respect. So we have found that the common onion is a true champion in nutrient content, the king of the garden. But here lies the main question of our research, the riddle of the old professor. Why is the phrase baked circled in red in his notebook? Why not raw, crispy, juicy onions that we love to add to salads. Why not boiled in soup? Could it be just the old doctor's taste preferences? Oh no, my dear ones. There is a much deeper secret hidden here. To understand him, let's use a simple and clear analogy. Imagine that a raw onion is a wild, prickly hedgehog. Yes, it is useful. It catches mice and snakes. Try to grab it with bare hands. It will instantly show its sharp spikes, prick you, and you will be forced to throw it away. Similarly, raw onions behave in the bodies of many of us, especially as we age. Those powerful sulfur compounds that cleanse our vessels and cause tears in their raw form can show aggression. They irritate the delicate walls of the stomach, esophagus, and intestines. For some, it causes heartburn. For others, real stomach pains. And if a person has gastritis, ulcers, or pancreatic problems, such a prickly hedgehog can bring significant troubles. Ultimately, it results in a paradox. There is a beneficial remedy, but it cannot be used. The organism simply rebels against it. Now let's perform real magic, the culinary alchemy that the professor mentioned. We take our prickly hedgehog and place it in warmth, in the oven or stove. And here, under the influence of even, soft heat, real miracles happen. Fire does not destroy benefits. It acts as a wise tamer. All aggressive, caustic, and volatile substances, all the thorns of our hedgehog, calm down, soften, and transform under the effect of temperature. They do not disappear anywhere. They simply change their character from hostile to friendly. The sharp, irritating smell fades away, replaced by a thick, rich, slightly sweet aroma. But the most important thing is the change in taste. The burning bitterness that once scorched the tongue completely vanishes. Where does the sweetness come from, you may ask? It's simple. Onions contain natural sugars, fructans. In their raw state, we hardly perceive them due to bitterness, but in the oven, these sugars begin to caramelize as if we are boiling them into a medicinal candy. The onion becomes tender, melting in the mouth with a noble, deep flavor. It no longer needs to be bravely chewed, squinting the eyes. It is desired to be eaten simply, with a spoon, as a standalone dish. Here is the key moment of our research. As excess water is removed and the taste transforms, all the main active substances, such as quercetin, which protects blood vessels, and chromium, which aids insulin, not only remain but concentrate. Imagine that almost half of the onion's weight evaporated as water, leaving all the benefits. Thus, each spoonful of baked onion contains almost twice as many nutrients as a spoonful of raw. It is no longer just a vegetable, but a true elixir, a natural concentrate of health. What happened to our hedgehog? It has completely lost its spines. Now it is soft, gentle, and friendly. Baked onion no longer scratches but gently envelops the walls of the stomach, soothing them. It does not cause irritation. On the contrary, it promotes the healing of small inflammations. It can be used even by those for whom raw onions are strictly contraindicated. This was the genius simplicity of the old professor's wisdom. He understood that a remedy must be not only effective but also safe and pleasant. And now, when our unique remedy is ready, it's time to figure out how it can deliver 3 powerful blows to high blood sugar levels. But we will discuss this in the next part of our research, and for now, we have reached the essence of our matter. Our miraculous medicine is already cooling on the plate, filling the air with a sweet aroma. Let's look inside our body and see what happens when we eat a spoonful of this baked delicacy, how it restores order where there seemed to be no hope. The thing is that baked onion strikes not 1 but 3 precise blows to high sugar. Let's examine them in detail. The first blow, a magical key for a hungry cell. Imagine that each cell in our body is a cozy little house that needs energy to live. This energy is provided by sugar or glucose circulating in our blood after a meal. Insulin acts as a postman who must collect this sugar and deliver it to the cell house. But, alas, with age or due to an unhealthy lifestyle, the lock on the door of each cage begins to rust. The insulin courier approaches, trying to insert the key, but it won't turn. The door remains closed. The cage stays hungry and weak, while all the sugar meant for it stays in the blood. This is called insulin resistance, the main problem with type 2 diabetes. And here, our baked onion comes to the rescue. More precisely, the precious micronutrient chromium contained in it. Chromium is the magical lubricant for a rusty lock. When chromium enters the body, it seeks our cells and, as if lubricating the keyholes. And then the miracle. The insulin postman approaches the cell again, easily turns the key, the door opens, and all the sugar from the blood rushes inside, saturating the hungry cell. As a result, the cell becomes full of energy, and blood sugar levels naturally decrease. This is how simply and brilliantly the first mechanism works. The second blow. An ambulance for the tired pancreas. If insulin is a postman, then the pancreas is a whole post office that produces these postmen. When blood sugar levels are constantly high, this post office is forced to work without breaks and holidays in 3 shifts. It wears out, gets tired, and over time starts to produce fewer and fewer postmen. And those who go to work become weak and sluggish. Once again, our baked onion comes to the rescue. We have already talked about its powerful sulfur-containing compounds that make us cry. Thus, in baked form, these compounds become the best allies for our pancreas. Sulfur is, figuratively speaking, the most important building material for producing quality insulin. When we eat baked onions, it feels like we are delivering a fresh batch of bricks and cement to our post office. The pancreas receives the necessary resources for rest, recovery, and the start of its own full insulin production. She does not show laziness, she was just exhausted, and we helped her by providing the most important nutrition. The third step is a thorough cleansing in our vessels. But what happens to the sugar that does not enter the cells and remains in the blood? It turns the blood into a thick, sticky syrup. This syrup, moving through the vessels, damages and erodes their delicate inner walls like sandpaper. As a result, the vessels become fragile and inflamed, with harmful cholesterol settling on them like rust. This leads to all sorts of terrible complications. Vision worsens, kidneys suffer, legs freeze and become insensitive, blood pressure rises. And here enters our familiar quercetin, derived from baked onions. He is a true cleanser and restorer for the vessels. Upon entering the blood, it immediately begins a thorough cleaning. Soothing the inflammation on the vessel walls, it acts like a healing balm. It restores their smoothness, elasticity, and strength, thereby preventing harm from sticky sugar. Quercetin protects our tiniest capillaries in the eyes, kidneys, and fingertips, restoring normal blood circulation in them. It is a powerful defense against the destructive effects of sugar. However, my dear ones, it is very important that you understand and remember the following thought. Baked onions are not a magic pill that will change your diagnosis in one day. They do not replace the medications prescribed by your doctor. Under no circumstances should you refuse your pills. Baked onions are your powerful ally, a faithful assistant in this struggle. It benefits your body, enhances the healing effect, and protects you from complications. This is part of a wise and comprehensive approach to your health. Laying the foundation for our victory, we will discuss how to properly prepare and take this natural remedy in the next part. So, my dear ones, the theoretical part of our research is complete. We understood why the onion, why baked, and what significant work it does inside us. Now let's open the most important page in the old professor's notebook, where the method is outlined. And I ask you to perceive this not just as a culinary recipe, but as a healing procedure, where every detail and every little thing matters. The professor's notes say, the devil is in the details, and healing is in precision. So the first and foremost rule is the choice of the right onion. We don't need a huge exhibition onion or one that's too small. The ideal option is a firm and dense medium-sized onion weighing about 100 to 150 grams, comfortably fitting in the palm of the hand. It is best to use ordinary golden or yellow onions, the kind our grandmothers always kept in woven baskets. This is a time-tested classic. Blue, or, as it is also called, red onion, is also very good. This product contains its own additional beneficial substances, but the professor's gold standard is the ordinary yellow onion. Make sure it is dry, without green shoots, spots, or soft areas. It should be alive and full of energy to pass its vitality to you. The second rule concerns the preparation for the ritual. The onion must be thoroughly but carefully washed under running water. A soft brush can even be used, but it is important to emphasize, under no circumstances should the skin be removed. The golden shell is not waste, but a protective armor under which lies the maximum concentration of quercetin, our defender. During baking, this shell will help retain valuable juices and allow the onion to stew like in a mini oven. After washing and drying the onion, take a sharp knife and carefully cut it in half crosswise. The third rule is the magic of fire. Now place the halves cut side up on a small baking tray or any heat-proof dish. No oil, not a drop of salt, and not a pinch of pepper. The onion must remain in its pristine form. Any additives, as the professor noted, interfere with the medicine's effect. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees, no more and no less, and send the onion into this gentle warmth for about 30, at most 40 minutes. The readiness criterion is very simple. The flesh must become completely soft and translucent, and a thick, sweet caramel aroma will begin to spread through the kitchen. If you pierce the onion with the tip of a knife, it should enter without the slightest effort, like into butter. The fourth rule is the most important. Ritual of consumption. The prepared onion should be removed and allowed to cool to a pleasant temperature, not cold, but warm. Now the most important part, when and how to eat it. Strictly in the morning, on an absolutely empty stomach, 30, or better, 40 minutes before breakfast. The body needs time to fully absorb all the benefits, so nothing should interfere. How much is there? Exactly 1/2 at a time. The second half can be wrapped and put in the fridge until the next morning. Take a teaspoon and carefully scrape the tender, sweet, and almost honey-like flesh straight from the husk, which now serves as your natural bowl. Eat slowly, enjoying the unusual yet very pleasant taste. And finally, the duration of the course. The professor insists on a strict cycle. You need to consume baked onions every day without skipping for 30 days, exactly 1 month. This is the period during which the first noticeable accumulation of beneficial substances and restorative processes will begin in the body. After this course, be sure to take a break for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and then, listening to your well-being and consulting your doctor, the course can be repeated. That's the whole secret. As you can see, it's genius in its simplicity. There's no need to brew, infuse, or strain anything. Nature and fire have already done all the work for us. We are left only to gratefully accept this priceless gift. Thus, our investigation has come to an end. The mystery of the old notebook is revealed. As you can see, it was not a magical trick hiding behind it, but the great wisdom of nature. Baked onions are not a cure-all for ailments, but they are a powerful and accessible tool, a key to improving well-being that you now possess. Remember, health is not a miracle that descends from the heavens, but the result of our daily and conscious self-care. If this video was helpful and interesting to you, we would appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell to stay updated on our future meetings and new longevity secrets. I sincerely wish you strong health, vigor, and long, happy years of life. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Until we meet again.